Hello everybody, all over the world. Hello and welcome to a new HiGPS where I got a new web camera that isn't properly aligned, and this old one is going to be moved elsewhere. Yes, so the reason I don't have a green screen today is because this is too wide of a shot, so the green screen would go about here. And also you can see that I'm in lovely 60 frames per second. It's actually 50, but it looks like 60. Let's see if I can angle this. You can have like cool like sliding shots. I think there's okay, something like that. Hope you guys can hear me. Did I remember to remove the head? Nope, I didn't. There we go. I'm also using OBS Studio, so I'm getting used to that. So hopefully everything is okay and everything works. And everything is cool. You can hear me okay. The audio is great. I'm just waiting for the chat to like scream that nothing's okay. That's fine. Today's episode is going to be about the Atomizer for the Scout. Yes, a weapon that a person named Mr. Slin made a video about, stating it's overpowered because you can essentially use the extra jump that deals 10 damage to yourself to avoid taking damage from a rocket or a pipe or something like that. Because as a Scout, you normally just have 2 jumps, right? But with this one, you get a third one, and it hurts you. It doesn't do that much damage. It swings slower and does less damage. So it says less damage versus player, so that means it does the same amount versus buildings. But as a Scout, who really uses the bat to destroy buildings? So we spend a few hits on taking down a normal dude. So if we'd use the normal bat, it's considerably less. Also, this works great with other weapons as well. Like you can combine this with many. However, with the soda popper, it's kind of unnecessary. But if you use the winger, you can jump pretty high, right? With 2 jumps. But you also have a third jump you can jump extra high with. Yes. So, with that in mind, we're gonna see, is it OP? Well, we know for a fact that it's banned in 6s. But then again, 6s bans everything. And 6s is also a flawed game mode. Said GPS, angering the entire competitive 6s community. TF2 is a game that works best if it's around 10 to 12 people. If you remove half of that, the game's gonna work pretty differently. And also when Mr. Slin lays out, or the thumbnail of Mr. Slin is him laying in bed talking about banning weapons, that is when you unsubscribe. At least I did. So yeah, 6s aren't really that interesting to me anymore. I find it kind of boring. It's nothing really interesting or new. It's the same scout, soldier, demo medic, except on a few times when you do something else. That's like the standard quota and stuff like that. And if you want to hear a secret, I'll use this camera down here to be like, hey, secret.
Get ready.
But that's okay. I was just testing to see if that worked. So basically it's like, can the extra jump save you? Is it overpowered? And here's the thing about like when something says overpowered, because people have different definitions of what is overpowered and what is good. I remember when I was at Deutschland and I was at the I-50, whatever I was at, I forget which number, 58 or something. People answered differently what it meant to play competitive. So even competitive players do not agree what is competitive. For whatever reason, they just don't agree on that. And so when the same competitive players say this thing is overpowered, well, I don't think they all agree on what is overpowered as well. So to me, overpowered is this weapon is always good in all situations, no drawbacks, and you can use it. There's no reason not to use it ever. There will never be a situation where you will never not want to use this in front instead of something else. Unless it's another let's say you have 2 overpowered weapons like you have, and you either use that one or the other thing, and the other are just trash. Right, kind of like the pyro melee weapon. You either use the home wrecker or you use the power jack. Nothing else. Both of those are kind of like overpowered compared. They're not overpowered, it's just all the others are bad. When everything else is bad, they're overpowered compared to the bad ones, if the bad ones are the baseline, if you know what I mean. If I'm making any sense. I don't think I am. Regardless, we're gonna see if basically the Atomizer's last jump can save us all the time. Which it doesn't. We know that if a soldier, like the argument is that you can dodge a soldier's rocket and take 10 damage instead. And then it's like, okay, so you dodge the rocket, but what if he hits you regardless. Then you've taken 10 additional damage. Oh shit. But, of course, this is the show where we do Team Fortress 2 stuff for basically newer players and just see how it works, and we don't really concern ourselves with the meta of Sixes players, which is a fraction of the players in TF2 play. They don't even play payload. What the fuck? So, to start us off, it's going to be me here. Hopefully everything works and we have audio and stuff like that. So we're just going to go into the first. This is going to be me introducing the weapon here. It's taking a while to load. Alright, there we go. So this is on Snowy Coast. I've just respawned, so I'm using the Atomizer and the standard stuff. I just use the Lugermort sometimes because that is pretty interesting unlock. So we're just going to go here. That's a spy and having some interesting ping issues. So we know that. Okay, so we can potentially always dodge a rocket and avoid taking the 100 damage if we're good enough to dodge. Alright, sure. So then we go and we're in this tiny hallway and that's okay. And oh, a soldier. Wait, I'll just use my jump and avoid the rocket. Nailed it. Fucking nailed it. Disproved. It's not OP. It sucks. So if you're in a concealed area like here, if you have nowhere to jump, it doesn't matter if you have an additional jump, you'll still die. Right? Okay. If anybody has worked within like first order logic or something like that, it's like you just have to disprove something once to make sure it's not superpowered. So there we go. What about snipers, huh? Well, I could use the third jump to like jump unpredictably and like avoid getting shot, right? So that's okay. So snipers can also headshot you while you're doing the third jump. So soldiers can still kill you. Snipers can still shoot you. I chosen this to open with this. Like, so far, the Atomizer doesn't seem that good, right? Because it's like, even if we jump, they can't hit us and stuff like that. Which is true. Like, if the soldier has a shotgun, he just whips it out as you do the third jump, and you're gonna fucking die. So, this is what I like to call the engineer that builds on last syndrome. It doesn't really have that much to do with the Atomizer. Just look at this guy right here. I'm just gonna go back just a little bit so you can witness this. Because you see this giant arrow pointing straight ahead, and there's also like it blocks off your path to kind of show you like go this way. But people with build at last syndrome, or BALS as I call it, they don't really care about that. So here we are, you know, in the beginning you always go engineer if you're playing like on defense. There we go, here's a guy and he's running forward and then doesn't build anything and just goes straight down. The engineer is it. So then we switch to the Jag, and we're like, okay, so we have two engineers. Neither of them built a teleporter. And then we're like, what is this guy doing? So he builds a sentry first. No way. And I'm like saying no, like keep going. No, he's very busy. Let's go. And then it's gonna build that. And then he's gonna build a dispenser, like a bot. Right, fuck it. Fuck that guy. He can stay there and build at last as much as he wants. Here we have the other guy who also has a level 3 sentry, but no dispenser everywhere, but he's gonna build it. And he also builds a sentry that gets blown up immediately. So engineers have a lot to learn. And also the fact, I didn't mention this, but if you've used the Atomizer, you know that it's passive. You don't need to be holding the weapon to get the additional jump height compared to the winger. Now, the last time we covered this item was back in 2003. It hasn't been changed all that much, so like the same still applies. We'll just see if it's any more like broken and stuff like that. So that's always like the issue with Scout when it comes to mobility and stuff, because speed and power go pretty much hand in hand when it comes to just doing stuff in general. Like, because as a scout, you're not that strong far away, but you're really strong up close, which means you use your speed to get more power. And this thing adds mobility, and mobility is very difficult to balance because in the right hands it's fucking unstoppable, but in the lower end of the spectrum it doesn't even matter. So this is going to be Rattle Wrench. He's going to be playing on 5 CP, which is a good way of self-torture if you're playing at the right time of day. In casual, people will build at last. They will have the Baal's syndrome when we are attacking their last. And stuff like that. So he's going to be using the Criticola as well. Works pretty well. You do not take any increased damage of those 10 damage, even when you have like the Atomizer out. So no, I mean like you get the you take mini crits after you use the Criticola for a little bit, and if you jump then you don't take mini crits off that, you still just take 10 damage. So it's a 10 solid damage, damage resistance and stuff like that doesn't really do all that much. So you can see that he's just staying on the high ground, like being above your opponent is always a good idea. He's just doing meat shots left and right, killing some stuff, using it to jump over here, just staying up top, and of course reloading, going down, and then seeing that the medic, ooh, the medic is going to retreat. Easy going here. Oh, the drop. Juicy drop. Nice. Taking him out.
Easy operation.
And flanking the heavy. Just basic scout stuff. You see, like, using your mobility to just run around and stuff like that. And then getting killed by a random crit scout in the ass. Or not a random crit. Maybe he had the Criticola, which we also have. But he killed us with it. Therefore, it's OP. Yes. So we saw some usage there. It was mainly used for positioning and not for avoiding damage. So in this case, Rattle Wrench used it to do more damage and not avoid the damage. So this is going to be Karma's camera. We're going to see a few of him. He's going to be using the being a badwater here with the Force of Nature, which is interesting. So he can jump with the gun and he can jump with the bat. The only last thing you would need is the winger to like capitalize on everything. But he opts to have the regular pistol for just stable damage. Is also great for taking out mini sentries and stuff like that away when the engineer isn't repairing it. Because keep in mind, as a scout, you suck against sentries because that's the principle of balance. You move the fastest and sentries don't move. So if you get killed by a sentry, it's because you ran into it. And also, Force of Nature can work pretty well on defense there because the objective is to keep the enemy away from pushing the cart, believe it or not. And if you push them away, because you can still kill stuff like if you just push them away from the objective, you're doing your job. You don't necessarily need to kill them. So we see Karma's camera's just running around. He hasn't done all that much. He hasn't used the Atomizer, but we've seen him get 1 kill with it. Personally, I don't think I will be using the Atomizer all that much because I'm more of a bat guy. I just like the bat. I like the sound it makes, and I just love. Like I'm so used to the damage timings that sometimes I will just whip out my bat when I'm done with the shotgun and kill them with the remaining health. Goes around the side here, knocks a soldier into the sentry, which is probably the most satisfying thing you can do as a scout, and a pyro. And then a pyro didn't extinguish him. And the name of this original demo was called I think it was 13 FFs, and he was mad at that. Yes. All right. So we're gonna see some more of Karma's camera. He's gonna be dodging some soldier rockets. Yeah, the thing that like is so OP with this thing, when a lot of your team in 6s consists of mostly soldiers. So unlocks that fucks with soldiers or demos, it's you fuck essentially with the half of the enemy team, which for some reason is a problem. So he's gonna be using the pistol here on Sujin. We got a lot of Sujin demos here. A lot of them were pretty similar as well. You can use like the additional jump to like get to heights up here. You can see you wouldn't be able to do that without the Atomizer and stuff like that. So in maps like this, Atomizer, Soda Popper, Winger, stuff like that, those kind of combinations is very, very good as a scout because you can just reposition yourself properly. However, keep in mind that everything is good against a bad player. Because see, this little jump here would not have been possible without the Atomizer. It only costs you 10 health, so it's sort of like the soldier and demo men usually take damage when they get mobility. That's kind of the same philosophy. Rocket jump equals movement, and you moving forward faster on your own equals you should take some damage for it. So it's kind of the same philosophy. However, it's only 10 damage, and well, as a scout, you're pretty weak, so 10 damage is actually a pretty big deal. especially if you're doing it when you're taking damage. And also, you can also kill yourself with this. If you have less than 10 health and you do the jump, you die. You kill yourself, which is important to note. So be careful about that. So just jumping around and being overall pain in the ass is really good when the enemy team is attacking one at a time. And now he's going to see some soldier dodging rockets here. And oh, a pyro, shit. Can't jump out of that. So yeah, wasn't really all that much dodging of rockets. It's okay. I mean, it doesn't change all that much. I mean, it makes Scout better at doing something Scout's already good at, which is jumping around. So having one additional jump, to me, doesn't seem like that much of a difference, because if they're not hitting you with the third jump, they might as well not hit you on the second jump, because you are less
predictable.
But here we have Amadeos, and he's just going to be using here on Swiftwater, which of course we know is the best competitive map because it's the only payload map in the fucking rotation. But he's using this to jump around and just be, you know, annoying, repositioning himself, avoiding taking damage. So you take 10 damage instead of taking more damage by going the other route. And we can get some high regular stock shotgun as well. And just dodging around. Of course, then the team's using pyro, which sucks because you have limited range and speed, and you are pretty much the worst class in the entire game. Because they can just shoot you out of your range, and there's not a lot you can do about it. So he goes in and gets the medic. Heavy, and he's really stressed out here. He's just jumping around over them, and that's really like the thing about like heavies and stuff like that. If a scout, like I like to think I have pretty good heavy aim, and if a scout jumps towards me and is in the air and I catch him in the little like rectangle in the crosshair, he's gonna fucking die regardless of how many jumps he has. It's like a tractor beam. Because you get pushed in the air and then, yeah, you have one more jump, you take 10 damage, but you just track them. So I think, like, when it comes, like, the Atomizer, it doesn't make any difference towards hit scan classes because they can hit you. Good snipers can still hit you because you have a jumping arc, it's predictable. Heavies can track you just as well. Sentries might not be able to hit you as quickly, but if you're caught in the, like, the sentry fire, you will be screwed anyway. This is going to be Chicken for 00T, or Chicken Foot, as he, or it's Chiken, he doesn't have a C in his name. And he's just going to be running around here using the bonk. And keep in mind, if you use the bonk, you don't take that damage when you do the jump. So, yeah. Chiken 00T. And they're also playing on the Payload Hallway, or Hoodoo. He's just running around, just not doing all that much. He has, you know, bonk and scattergun. He's going to run around the side here. And yeah, as he's doing a jump, you don't take any damage. You can jump, and there's a heavy there. And, well, there's not much we can do about that now, is there? Attacking stuff head-on as a scout is generally a pretty bad idea. You should avoid it as much as you can. You should flank, but however, on maps like this where there are no flanks, that can be pretty hard to do. So he's just running around from side to side, and there we go. Alright, so he's going to bonk again, and maybe get behind. Nope, he's just going to be in their faces. And kill this demo man. Nice! Nailed it! Alright, so we have... Let's see. There we go. Yes, cool. I was just checking something in the chat. The moderators are not doing their jobs, apparently. If I even have moderators. Right, so that was a low-end demonstration of it. Didn't really make a lot of difference there. But it's always nice to see new people submitting, so thank you for that. So the next one is actually pretty interesting. This is going to be Commander Snowcat, and he actually, like, there's one combination that you wouldn't really think is that great, and that is the pretty boy, the Babyface's Blaster combined with this thing. Because the Babyface's Blaster, it works like you shoot people, you run faster, but if you jump or double jump or get hit, you run slower. However, you can kind of make the thing getting hit into sort of like not a weakness, because you can just do more damage and just jump around and survive longer. So here we go, here's a soldier, and let's see how he like avoids this. So he's used the second jump, Doesn't even have to use the third jump. He's gonna jump again. Now he has to reload because only having 4 clip is a whole lot less damage and a whole lot more time spent reloading. So he's just jumping around. You can see the soldier's having issues hitting him. He has no boost, so he actually moves slower than a regular scout. And then he uses the jump and jumps over the soldier. Soldier has gunboats, and if you're a gunboat soldier and you are only using the rocket launcher to kill a scout, you're gonna have a fucking problem because the scout's super fast and the rockets are not that fast. And then he's still in here. I mean, if he did another jump, he would have died, but he picked off a lot of the soldier's health, so that's pretty good. And I was gonna run around the side here, and he has a lot of boots, so he runs pretty fast. Cue the Sonic music, and the other team has popped an Uber for some reason, and he's just on the point capping again. They don't really seem to care. There we go, he's shooting that, looking around the sides, capping with his team. Oh, he sees a sniper. Let's go and take care of him. Just run over here and bam. Yes, Razorback sniper in 6v6 competitive when the other team doesn't even have a spy. That is what we call good game sense. Oh, but there's a spy, but that's probably the other team's spy. So he has a Razorback for his own team spy, I guess. Oh, they have 2 of them. 2 spies. 2 out of 6 is spies in competitive, and they wonder why they lose. Oh, they have a pyro too. Great. Pyro doesn't work because 6s doesn't work. And why 6s doesn't work is because the less players you have on the field, the better the soldier and the scouts are. That's why you have 2 of them. For some reason, that's not banned, but having 2 demo men and 2 medics, oh no, that's stupid. That breaks the meta. Please. So Commander Snowcat here, really utilizing the speed advantages that you get from this weapon here, and he has the bonk, and he didn't really need to use it there, but he used it anyway, because you don't know if you catch like a stray rocket or a stray pill. And then he goes forward, and yeah, gonna go and cap. I mean, all they have to do is to capture this 1 point to win, and that's exactly what they're gonna do. Yay, victory! Cannot initiate a duel at this time. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Cannot do that. So that was a good usage of that. I think like the idea is as soon as you get hit, you just stay in combat and you fight longer because even though it's slower, it's not that slow with the baby-faced blaster, and the scout doesn't run like he's shat himself. So this is still Commander Snowcat, and I don't know if this yeah, this is a competitive match. So 6v6, 5 CP. It's gonna run here a bit slower than normal. Scout's gonna get to the middle point, and we're just gonna see how he utilizes the kit he has with him right now. So he uses this thing as well. Keep in mind that if you combine this weapon with the Atomizer, if you position yourself correctly, you can actually heal up the amount you heal with the jump. So there you go. And it's also a bit easier to get all your shots because you don't shoot as quickly. So he's gonna stay on the point capture. Here comes a soldier that doesn't have a shotgun, so he can just weigh him down if he wants to. And now the soldier makes a crucial mistake, and that's to whip out the escape plan. So he takes the mini crits, and you see he does it again. And this is not how you track, but he's trying. And he could probably just have shot him with the baby-faced blaster. I'm not sure why he hasn't done that. He had 1 shot left, so I think this is just poor management of him, not engaging the way he could, but his team caught up with him and they get the point regardless. So he's just poking and prodding at the medic here and building up some speed. The pyro's there as well. Seems preoccupied. I feel sorry for this medic, man. This team just fucking sucks. The soldier like still doesn't know he's there and gets taken out, as does the pyro. So here we go. Do we have a third jump in us? Oh, he hasn't really used the third jump all that much. He hasn't had to. Here we go, and there we go, going around the side and being decisive. Somehow the other team manages to capture the middle point for whatever reason. Side. Finally they cap middle again, and he can just at any point in time just go to their second and start capping, which is exactly what they do. They just go there and they do it. That you can just do that. So he's gonna still move forward and could have jumped down there and committed, but he doesn't have that speed, so he's a bit slower. So I get he's a bit anxious here because you also don't have a lot of moving space. Okay, but watch this. All right, this is a prime example of you should use the third jump. So he comes down, and you should use the third jump now, because if we take a look behind you, there's a soldier, right? And soldiers, they like to shoot rockets. So if we keep going and jump, 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 jump. Ah, you should have jumped. Splash killed you. Go ahead and jump, like Van Halen. So, because you didn't jump, you got hit by a rocket. And it's easier to avoid rockets by jumping. It's not easier to avoid gunfire with rockets. So, that was a good example of that. Moving on, we're going to go back to Karma's camera. He's going to be showing us some cool fan jumps you can do here with the Atomizer on badwater first. Like earlier, we saw him on later stages of badwater, but this is earlier in another game. So we're just going to see how exactly he decides to do things. So he's just standing there looking at the sky in case there's any bombers like demo men like to. Like as a scout, there's not a whole lot you can do in the beginning of a payload map, especially here. So if you just stay here and you just, like this is the area where demo men usually will be landing, so you can just go and pick them off. And then he gets crits for some reason. Probably the medic was forced. He's on fire, doesn't have anything to put him out with. That's okay, medic survives because they're resilient like that. And just going up in the high ground here, just holding it. The enemy team seems to be struggling moving out of spawn, which is funny because they can just walk out at any point in time. There's a sentry there though, and you should shoot that. I mean, you can shoot it with a soldier or a demo, but they opt not to. They're probably going to just play spy or sniper. Got to play those two classes and nothing else. And then he just decides to wait, and there's a heavy there, and he just shoots him back into spawn, and that's why this weapon is so good on defense, is because you can just put people back where they came from or push them into sentry fire. So we kind of have like this air blast that does some damage. He's also using the pistol for just chip damage. As a scout, you generally don't want to get too close to pyros because their air blast can really fuck up your jump, but luckily we have the Atomizer, so they can fuck up our jump twice. And then he goes back and does something nobody really does, and that's go back and grab a medic, because keep in mind, if a medic heals you, he will run the same speed as a scout, and that is very good for a medic. The medic will appreciate it and feels loved, and gets to run super fast. Like a cheetah. Jumps up, and you can see there isn't really a whole lot going on for the other team here. I don't think there are that many players, and he also does the thing where he looks up when the sniper's about to shoot. Like, that can throw off their aim, or just make him confused, like what the hell you're doing. The other team doesn't seem to be doing a lot. So he goes and pushes the heavy, and here, like at this distance right here, there's not a whole lot this Atomizer thing will work, right? Because the heavy can just shoot you. So the further you are away from the heavy, the more difficult it is. But it helps to have constant heal, and the heavy has no heal. Like a jump there, you can do that. Cool, it's like Christian Mao on steroids with this thing. And he goes on the side, and he runs into a pyro, currently on fire, and then he gets to retreat because pyros can really ruin your day as a scout. And then he gets Kritzkrieg and buckles under pressure and misses all the shots. The medic gave it to the soldier with a cow mangler, and the soldier's like, oh, why don't I get crits? Juggles a sniper, killing him as well. And then realizing people are pushing the cart, it's a pyro. Take him out, combined with the man that only punches people once. Going scout as well. Hasn't really used the Atomizer all that much. He's made some fancy jumps here, but it doesn't really matter when he jumps over. And then he used the third jump, and then he gets sniped. Oh, right. Yes. So, that is those for now. Let's have a look and see the Atomizer in full action in one of the last demos that we will do, which is just like, if you follow me on Twitter, you know that I get mad sometimes, and this map infuriates me the most out of any map in casual. There's just something about a map called CP Sunshine is so happy and stuff, and it has the worst players ever. I mean, they don't explore anything. Like, it's one thing to just be like bad at the game, like, oh, I'm bad at shooting and I don't know where to go and stuff like that, but you have people that don't explore. They're like, I wonder what's there. I wonder what this does. Like, they don't explore or try out anything. It's like when you watch some people play a game and it's like a party game or something, and you have 4 buttons, and then they only use one button and they don't experiment or even try to figure out what the other buttons do. Those kind of players make me mad. I'm so furious. Like, why aren't you like exploring that? It's like if you buy a house and you're like, all right, this is the hallway and this is the bedroom, and I don't need to know what any of the other rooms do. Fuck this, I'm just gonna use the hallway for leaving and the bedroom for sleeping. This is like the best Airbnb permanent solution I've ever had. Oh man, it infuriates me. So basically, at any point in time, you can just run and capture. What's the point I was trying to make here? And then we cap and win, and people are like, wait, what? Shit, people, someone just capped? They just capped? They just ran in and took the objective? Yes, you can. At any point in time, you can just go forward and capture the point and sneak around and like you don't need to shoot people when you're capping the last. I'm very passionate about this. I'm very angry. Very, very angry. So the last one, we're gonna see a very bad case of the BALS building at last syndrome. Do you see where we are on the map? We're capping. We're capping. And now we're going to their last. We do not have one, but we have 2 engineers on our last, which is here. Can you see that? It's here. We are here. These people don't... Like, if you play a game, you play a multiplayer game, you're like, alright, there's supposed to be some enemies, I'm gonna build a turret, and then nobody comes. There's no one fucking there. And you're like, huh. Well, my color is red, so that means I'll have to defend this point right here, because if I don't defend it, who will? Right, got it.
Has been at our control point.
And they don't even explore it, so I'm like, oh god, whatever. Shit. So angry. This was about to be about Atomizer, it's just me yelling about people playing Sunshine and building a last. So we go in and we're like, oh shit, there's a lot of stuff here. We're gonna try and capture. Spies pressuring us. Tons of dudes we can't contain. And now we have like 17 health that we can dodge once. Tried to get on the point once again. But we can't do it. We die. Yeah, so that was the episode. That was the Atomizer. It's a bit tough. Like, I think it's fine, but however, I can see that if you play sixes or 6v6, which is a game mode that doesn't really work, but people have decided to keep it alive artificially and on life support, and then eventually begging to get it into the game. I don't think sixes in TF2 has much of a future as the casual aspect does, because there's only a fraction of people who play this game competitively, and most people play it casually, and also casual and competitive are very, very different in the way that they're played, because not all classes are represented, and there's also other elements missing, such as the unpredictable composition of teams and unlocks that you don't necessarily know, and also the fact that we have like this top 1% who makes all the calls. Like, it's the people at the top of every league and all the group, and like a council of people that are just the best players deciding what everyone else should play and what the meta should be. And what we got, and as a result, is a meta that is stale and boring, and they just stand there and run the clock out is what happens. So I think for sixes, this weapon is definitely OP, because every single sixes team consists at the basis of 2 soldiers, 2 scouts, a demo, and a medic, and then half of the team is, of course, 2 soldiers and a demo. And the last jump here, especially like if you're not confined spaces, you can definitely use that to avoid taking any damage. And if you have 2 scouts doing that, well, then both of those 2 scouts are going to tear shit through the other team. So then maybe you would have to change class. All right, these 2 scouts are running fucking atomizers. We can't run the soldier. Maybe we should run a heavy. No, fuck it. That breaks the meta. Ban the weapon instead of learning to adapt and deal with it like every other game out there does. Gee, can you imagine that? Oh yeah, we're going to ban a hero from Overwatch, or we're going to ban a unit from StarCraft, or we're going to ban... Well, I do think they ban heroes in League of Legends and Dota, but who the fuck cares about those kind of games? Like, MOBAs suck anyway. They're so boring and dumb. It's like, oh yeah, I just control one unit. Top down, like not first person, like just one. Just control one unit. I'm taking a shit here. But yeah, basically, I think the Atomizer is fine. However, I think it's a problem with the 6's setup that makes it good, like too broken, because you negate half of the enemy teams there. So I'd say it's fine. 6's is broken. That's my there. So yes. So what we're gonna be doing next week, we're actually gonna be doing a sniper episode, and we're gonna be doing this little bad boy right here. It's gonna be called the Cleaner's Carbine, and basically, if you kill somebody with it, you get mini crit. Or not, if you get a charge, sorry, you get mini crits for 8 seconds. And yeah, so just use this. You can use whatever combination you want. Just use this, and also they fixed it, so now you can taunt with it, which is just the fucking best. You can taunt after kills, or something like that. So that's up to you. So I'm looking forward to seeing some interesting strategies, maybe some teamwork. That's all. Other than that, the Atomizer episode is done, and after the Cleaner's Carbine, there will be another Scout episode, and unless there's been a TF2 update, after that, we are done with every single unlock that has been changed in updates since we started the show in 2011. For the first time, we are out of shit to do, but that's okay. I have a giant backlog of like stupid stuff we can do in the meantime, or stuff we can revisit if people are not happy with the verdicts that we have. Yes, cool. Cleaner's Carbine next week.